Hello everyone, this is Johannes and you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and today we are taking a look at a huge game, a beast of a game that's highly anticipated for lots of people in 2018, and that game is Feudum, this big, huge box right here. It's Feudum time. It's a game by Mark Swanson and released by Oddbird Games. This is a beast. This is a huge game. This is a game that takes an hour and 15 minutes to teach. This is a game that's sprawling, huge Euro stuff all over the place. How is this game? Is it overly complicated just for complicatedness' sake? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it amazing? Most importantly, is it fun? Which is the most important thing of them all. Let's go down to the table. I'm gonna go through some things about how you play Feudum. I'm not gonna go through everything, but some stuff about how it plays, and then we're gonna come back up and see what I think about this game. So let's get to it. So let's talk a little bit about how you play Feudum. To learn this game, you're gonna probably have to sit through an hour and 10 to 20 minutes of rules explanations. So obviously we're not gonna do that here because that would make an extremely long video, and somebody has already done that. You can go and check out Heavy Cardboard's playthrough and teach for the full rule breakdown on this game if you are inclined to do that instead of actually reading the rules. I'm just going to go over the basic concepts of the game to see how you actually play, what you want to do in this game, and if you are interested to see more, go to the Heavy Cardboard video or read the rules. So, Feudum is a card-based game. Every round, all players are going to choose 4 cards from their deck of 11 action cards. Everybody has the same action cards. You're going to choose 4 cards, and then you're going to go around the table and play a card, do what the action says. Then it's when my turn again. I play another card, and then the turn is over. So we're just going to go basically into what you want to do with those actions, or what the actions are made out of. So one of the things you can do is to put out a pawn. You can put out pawns on the board. Each pawn is a die. That's because there are 6 different sides, of course, to the die, with 6 different characters you can choose to put out. You're going to put them out, and they are on their merry way. In the beginning of the game, you're going to want to put them out with one of these purple or pink circles, and afterwards in the game, you can put them wherever you have a pawn or wherever you have influence, for example, over here. So, you can also move people around, which you can do because you want to move them around and you want to put more influence so that you can control more locations. You can attack other players' pawns to take them off the board and score you some victory points. You can upgrade the pieces, so you can upgrade the outposts here over to farms. You can grow the farms, which look like this. You can upgrade them up to towns, and you can upgrade the towns to feudums. And feudums are important in a way I will explain shortly. So, other than that, you can use different. If I have a farm which I control, I can play a harvest card to get some resources. If I have an outpost, I can explore to get some of these royal writ cards, which will be either special one-time actions or end-of-game scoring opportunities. You also have a repeat card, which makes the possibility to do stuff more than one time. You can attack, as I said. You can use a defend card. I'm not going to go into everything, but one of the most important things in this game is this card right here, the guild card. Because on the outer edge of the board there are 6 guilds, which basically a lot of the game revolves around these 6 guilds. And the way I want to do is to go and get influence in these guilds so that you can control what the guilds are doing. Whenever I put a pawn on the board, let's say I put this knight because he has an axe as a knight, I now have 1 influence in the Knight Guild. If there's nobody else over here, I will take one of my influence cubes and I will put it here to say I am the guild master of this space over here, which gives me a possibility to do some special actions that I will tell you about soon. and that will give you 1 point of influence. If you have a feudum in the same guild, let's say red has this knight, and then blue has the possibility to make this feudum over here, for example, which he controls, and then blue player will now have 3 influence in the knight's guild, which will be more than the red players, and will knock it down to journeyman, and now the blue player will be the guild master. I hope this makes some sense. There's so much stuff in this game. It's really hard to like dilute it down to just a couple of words, couple of minutes, but we'll try, and hopefully it gives a little bit of meaning. So, the thing you can do with these guild actions is that you can either trade with the guilds. Each of the 6 guilds has a trade action. I'm not going to go through all of those, but the most interesting thing about the rules, which I want to tell you about, is the push and pull of these guilds. The thing is that these guilds basically are some kind of rondel, because it goes around and around and around. And the resources here, it's kind of the economy of the game, is how these guilds work with the push and pull. So if I am the guild master, let's say here in the merchant guild, I can do a push action over there. And the way that works, and it's the same way with a little bit of difference in each of them, so I'm not going to go through all of them, is basically I'm going to take some resources, 4 resources, and push them into this guild. And if I fill up rows or baskets in this guild, I will get some points. And that's basically what you're going to do all around. So for this alchemist to be able to do anything, like if he uses up all his resources, almost the only way he can get more resources back is if somebody is the guildmaster here in the merchant's guild and pushes it over into the alchemist guild. So it's kind of a push and pull, in that if somebody goes here and it's the guildmaster here, I might want to go here, for example, to be the guildmaster, because I know that the red player really wanna. You don't see this on the screen. Yeah, you don't see it. Yeah, you do see it on the screen. I'm really sorry, because it's really hard to get this huge board into the screen at one time. So blue player might want to go here because he knows that red player want to push stuff over here, and then blue player knows that he will be able to push stuff over here. But then of course red player can go and try to be the guildmaster in the knight's guild to be able to push it even more and get more points and get the wheel to turn of this economy. After everybody has played their 4 cards, you're gonna feed your workers. So your pawns are gonna get 1 food each. You have to pay that. You can also get them drunk by using wine, and then they will have no defense in the next round, so it's easy to attack them, but sometimes it's not going to be a problem. Then you're going to see if the game is evolving. Up here we have an epoch track. It's from epoch 1 to epoch 5. You're going to play epoch 1, 2, 3, and 4. When the 5th one is triggered, it's going to be an end of game scoring. And the way this works is that every time somebody improves a building out on the board, you're going to take one of these. There are going to be stacks on all these 6 different landscapes that are on the board. Every time you improve something, you're going to take one of them, either from the place you are, or if there isn't anything from that epoch or earlier, you're going to take it from somebody else, from another area. You might score some points if you take it from the right area, and you're going to make the game go on. You're going to make trigger the end of the game, because over here you have this chart which tells you how many of each number has to be shown for the next epoch to be triggered at the end of the round. You're going to continue playing like this until you go to the 5th epoch, then you're going to do final scoring, and the person with the most points is going to be the winner. That is a really, really short way of telling you how Feudum works. It is so much stuff going on in this game. I really can't justify the rules in this short of amount, but I really don't want to use 1 hour and 15 minutes to tell you every little detail, because nobody's going to watch 1 hour and 15 minutes of these rules anyway. So I hope that gave a little bit of meaning, and let's get back up to the table and see what I think about this game, Feudum. And that is some of the rules for Feudum. I can't even begin to do a full rules of this game. This game has so many rules. So let's just get that out of the way before we go into anything like gameplay or components or anything of that thing. This game is a beast to teach. Like, however many games I teach, however many rules I read, however many games my game friends play, an hour and 15 minutes of a teach. Like the first time I used maybe 1 hour and 25, 1 hour and 30 minutes to teach a game. The second time I was down to like 1 hour and 10 minutes. And after that we played only with players who had played the game. Because this is a hurdle to teach. Like, how many players do you know that will say, when you say like, okay, this game is gonna last maybe 2-3 hours and the teach is gonna be 1 hour and 15 minutes. People are gonna be like, what? Like my friend said, my neighbor said, like, when I texted him and said like, okay, the teach was like 1 hour and 20 minutes, and he responded with, it takes 45 minutes to teach Arkwright. And before, like a spoiler, Arkwright is a much more complex, involved game than this is. So this game has too many small little tiny rules, which makes the rule teaching so long and really hard to get through. Like, it's really smooth to teach it actually, but there are so many rules to remember the first time you play. And the big question is then, of course, is it worth it? And that's we're gonna come back to. So this, like, yeah, will it be worth it? Will I like it? Will I hate it? I haven't said anything about what I think about the game yet, which I usually do in the first 2 seconds of a review. So let's continue to components. We're going to start there. I actually have a lot of stuff written down about this game, but let's get the components out of the way. This game looks amazing. When I first saw the Kickstarter for this, the artwork was the first thing that drew me in. And then when I saw this was going to be like a heavy economic Euro game, of course I was going to be in. But the artwork is beautiful. It's stunning. The monsters looks really nice. Let's take a look at this little guy. You also have the sea serpent. Everything is wooden, I think. I think it's wood. Or like it feels like wood or some kind of ceramic kind of thing. But the pawns, everything looks kind of vintage. It kind of looks like an older game, but it doesn't feel like that when you look at it, but kind of like the feel of it, like the wooden pawns. It looks like a really old style die. Everything is amazing. So this game is just beautiful to look at. When you put the board on the table, the board is humongously long, but it looks really beautiful. I love the artwork of the game. So that's a really positive thing about the artwork and about the components. So let's get to one of my negative things about this game out of the way as well. As happened in Agra, I haven't reviewed it because I didn't really feel like I wanted to play it enough to review it. But as with Agra, the board is huge. The artwork is really beautiful, but with really beautiful artwork, some of the functionality of the artwork, functionality of the board vanishes. So in this game there are some really small stuff that you have to look, especially when you're going to replenish the resources. Every epoch you're going to replenish in one specific area of each region on the board. You're going to have to look around for these markers of the south, east, west, and north. After a few plays, you're going to remember certainly where they are, but it's kind of a hassle. The biggest problem I have with is just in the scope of how big this game is. It's a small thing, but I don't have any idea why they thought this would be a good idea. In the market, like in the Merchants Guild, where you can buy resources, the prices for each resource is under the resource. So they made the tracks with small squares for the cubes, and in that square is the price for that resource. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, what were they thinking? One easy thing that they could have done was instead have it under, you could have like one thing that you see. So this is the last square and here is the price. And then when you take it off, then the price you see is for the next cube. Why didn't they do that? They wouldn't, of course, it would be like, I don't know. I think they were just wanted to have everything hidden away because the artwork is so beautiful. But we basically had to put everything over the rows to be able to see it, because to go down and move around these small tiny cubes to be able to see what the price is, that would be horrible. So I have no idea what they did that, but that's like some minor things, and that thing, it can easily be gone through, but I really hate it. I really hate why they did that. I don't know why they thought that would be a good idea. Okay, so gameplay, which is what everybody's like, what do you think about this game? Why are you talking about these small numbers? Everything comes together to one thing, of course, but after you learn these rules, after you go through 1.5 hours of game teaching, you start playing. and the game is amazing. The game is so much fun. I have even written it down. I have written fun level to the max. That's like thousand amounts of fun. It's just been about fun, 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 fun. It's a fun cannon. It's a cannon of fun. What I really, really enjoy is the gameplay is actually really smooth. After you go through like that 1 hour and 20 minutes of rules, the game feels so much simpler than those rules should just learn. And that's kind of like a negative, of course, because as I said, there's so many tiny rules, which makes the game harder to learn. But when you start playing, it feels kind of smooth. I love the fact that you're gonna choose 4 of these cards, and if you have a plan, if you have a strategy, a lot of these cards aren't gonna be interesting to you at all. So maybe you have like, okay, I want to do this, or I really want to do this one, and there are a couple of ways that you can actually choose 5 cards in a round, and there is a way that you can play 2 cards in a row. I have never done that, but I have chosen to play 5 cards pretty often when I have the resources to do that. The thing that is really, really cool, like I played this game the first time with 4 players, and 2 of them have pretty much an AP problem. I also can have AP, but 2 of them have a lot of AP. But in this game, almost no AP. And that's really strange because I was worried there's going to be so much. But because like the only kind of downtime in this game is when you choose the cards, and if you have a plan which you should do to be able to do anything in this game, then half of the cards aren't going to be interesting. Let's say, for example, I don't want to use the tax card because I don't own any towns, so that card is just boop. Can't use that card, or I don't need money, I don't care. So, and also if you have a plan, like when I started playing, when I got a plan, when we're gonna go to choose this card, like I know I need to do this, I know I need to do this card, I think I want to do this, and then it's basically just 1 more card to choose. That goes pretty quick, and the actual gameplay of playing a card, choosing what you want to do with that card, and just doing it is pretty quick. All the actions are really quick, feel kind of like a Concordia-esque style, except that you're only just choosing 4 cards, and those are the cards, you can't just choose 1 card at a time. The most involved thing here is, of course, the economy of the guilds, and that is such an amazing, cool little thing that I just love it. I enjoy the push-pull, trying to be the guild master. If you are the journeyman, I didn't say that in the rules, actually, in the overview. If you are the journeyman, you can push. No, you can pull resources from the guild to the left. So you can pull in resources, just do a slightly less good action, a slightly worse action, and get fewer points. But it's like if you see like, okay, nobody's going to push there, and I'm going to try really, and I'm the guild master in the next one, which need those resources, then basically you can't, because you can't pull into the same one you want to push. But it's really interesting to see like, okay, you're going to go for that guild, then maybe I really wanted to go for that guild, but because you're going there, I want to go there, because then you push stuff into my arms, and I just will push it farther and get more points. And it's really, really fun, this kind of rondel. And that's also there's a lot of interaction in this game. We're gonna talk player counts later, but there's a lot of interaction, a lot of stuff going on. Also, there's the combat thing, which it can be a setback, like it will be a setback, like there's not many rounds on this game. Somewhere between 5 and 7 rounds, the rulebook says, and I have found that to be kind of right. I think we have done 5, 6, I don't remember, but I think we've done between 5 and 8 rounds in our games. It really depends on how much improvement you do, because that is what speeds up the game. And you also have 1 progress die, which you roll each round, which will take away 1 of these tiles every round as well. So the game can't be forever, but you're not going to get any points if you don't improve and do stuff like that and get feudums, because feudums are really important. You don't have to have them to win, but I think they're really important. So if you hate like conflict, the conquest card is gonna probably make you angry if you have like this pawn. But for me, I don't like that. I don't like conflict. But for me, I feel like if I'm placing a pawn, I'm trying, okay, this pawn is really important to me, I have to move it over here, and then you don't really have any ways to get to me. But if you really want to do that, like it's hard to attack people. You really have to plan it, you really have to have everything at one place to be able to attack, and then people can see it coming, and people can choose a defense card to have more defense and maybe stop the attack. It's it's really hard to attack, which makes me happy because it's not one thing I like so much in the game. It has happened to me a couple of times losing my pawn. It's boring, but then again, sometimes you have 2 pawns or 3 pawns on the board, and actually you only need 1 for mobility, and you will lose mobility points, movement points if you have less pawns out. Just like in Concordia, you have the same amount of movement point that you have the amount of pawns you have, but everything in this game is fun. And one thing I really like with this game, like I really love this. I'm gonna do say Concordia again, because in Concordia I can plan so long into the future, and I feel like in this game as well I can have a plan and then I can execute it. Of course, with interactions, sometimes I have to choose another card or do something else. But what I really like is that I know which cards I want to do because I have this plan and boom, 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 boom. It's fun. It's just fun. And one thing a lot of people have been afraid of, and I know a couple of reviewers have said already, this game feels overly complex. Like complex for complex sake. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that this is the most complex game I have played. I will say that if you play with all Sorta games, if you play heavier games, you will have no problem playing this game, and you will not feel like it's overly complex or there's a lot of stuff that's there just to be there. Like, everything fits beautiful together. I really love how the map interacts with the guilds. Everything is just amazingly fun. Like fun cannon, fun, a cannon of fun. So, couple of negatives, as I said, is the teach and the board. I can't really find anything negative to say about the gameplay. You have to like this kind of game. This is a game for, like, you have to like heavy games to be able to enjoy this game. But for me, I love it. And so before we end this review, let's talk about the play time with different player counts and how it feels with different player counts. I haven't played this game at 5. I know a lot of people feel like, okay, you have to have the maximum amount of players to have fun in games. Like, for example, people said, like, for Rising Sun that they need to have like 5 or 6 players for the game to be the best. I will never play that game with 5 or 6. The same way I will probably never play Feudum with 5 players. And the reason is basically because our group is kind of slow. We don't play super fast. We play kind of slow, have some AP players. Me included sometimes. I'm working on it to not have so much APs. If you meet me at a con, don't be afraid if you hate AP people. I can turn it off almost all the time. But what I really find interesting is that I like this game almost the same at 2, 3, and 4 players. There are different experiences, especially between the 2 and versus the 3 and 4 players, but it really works well with 2. There's not going to be so much interaction, and you have to work harder to get into the guilds, to get the economy to flow, but it really felt amazing, and it actually took only 1 hour and 20 minutes to play it with 2 players who had played it before. The 3-player games took us 2 hours, and the 4-player games, the first time we played all new players, took 3 hours. I think that can be taken down to maybe 2 hours and 45, 2.5 hours, and if you are quick players, you can play it faster. I saw the designer had actually played a 3-player game in 1 hour and 17 minutes, so it's just mind-blowing to me. But so it's not even a really long game. Like, of course, if you like 45 minutes games, this is not a game for you, but you will probably have hopped off a long time ago because this game is so heavy and so involved. But yeah, like it's not a long game. You can play it great with 2. I wouldn't really choose to play it with 2. Like, it's better with 3 and 4. For me, it's not that huge of a difference, but I can teach it with 2 players. It goes quicker, so you can do the teach. You can play, of course, if you're teaching with 2 players, the only problem is that if you're going to play it with 4 players, you have to teach it again. So get the most amount of people you can get when you teach this game, so you have more people who know the game that can play it again. But this game is amazing. I recommend this game. If you like heavy economic Euro games, area control, a little bit of fighting, moving around, finding the best way to do it, having these cards, card play, choosing the right cards, everything just speaks right to my heart, and I love this game. So go get the game if you think it's interesting. It's amazing and it's fun and I love it. And that's the end of the review. Thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. I'm Johannes. You've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings. Bye bye.